Hey, what's up, Writing Workshop? Happy Virtual Monday. I'm hoping that this planned virtual day is going according to plan for you guys, and I really hope that it benefits us as teachers as well, giving us a chance to do some meeting time that we normally don't get. Also, hopefully giving me some quality time, as well as other teachers, this afternoon to catch up on grading. My big thing for you guys is giving comments on your college application essay outlines. That's one of my big plans for this afternoon. A pretty typical virtual lesson here. You'll notice an agenda, a video, and a quiz. I'm going to try to keep this video rather short. I know that you have all 8 classes today, so I just want to give you some strategies for ACT English style tests, and just to give you, or just to set you up for success with your quiz as well. And that is our only objective for today, is for you to identify and correct basic usage and punctuation errors. No journal entry or anything today. If you haven't taken a moment to pray just for this class or even for your entire virtual day, please maybe pause this video and spend some time in prayer before we continue forward. Alright, so as it says, please watch through the ACT English Strategies video. You're watching that right now. Obviously, what I'm going to cover for you are some strategies specific to the ACT English test. The reason why I want to do that today is that whenever we run grammar quizzes in this class, I will do it ACT style. I know that a lot of you are juniors preparing for the ACT in March, even seniors in this class. If you're thinking of retaking the ACT, I'm hoping that the strategies and skills that we talk about in this course are enough, maybe to bump up your score by I don't know, 1, 2, 3, maybe even up to 5 points in your ACT English section. It does say, on your own, please complete the grammar quiz located at the bottom of the lesson folder. I will be available in Microsoft Teams this afternoon if you need assistance, but I'm also going to look at that quiz real briefly inside of today's video. Please note that grammar quiz is due by the end of tonight. It's not a very long quiz. There's also our semicolons practice that we were working on Friday. I would like to collect that in class when I see you tomorrow. ACT English strategies here. As you note, this is just a video giving you some pointers about the ACT English section. I'll also give a brief overview of our quiz. I do want to take a look at this little document I typed up for you. It's not an exhaustive list of pointers for the ACT English test, but these are the most important ones that come to mind for me. These are things that I like to try to build into any sort of quizzes I give you. I would note these are specific strategies for the English test, so maybe while some of these might be applicable for other ACT subtests, I'm specifically talking about the English section, not even the reading section. First pointer, start with your strengths. The ACT English test is 75 questions in 45 minutes, so that's faster than 1 question per minute. The nice thing there is that most questions are grammar questions. You don't even have to necessarily read the entire passage. It's generally best to read questions before their passages, and then start with the questions you're most confident about. So if you notice that one of the questions just underlines a couple of words that should be a proper noun and should all be capitalized, and you notice they're not all capitalized in the passage, that can be a quick one that you can fix automatically. Spend 5 seconds on it instead of a full minute on that question. Every passage in the ACT English test also will give you some whole paragraph or whole passage questions. Generally, I like to save those for the end of the passage, or even the end of the test if they're particularly difficult. What that allows you to do is answer as many questions as possible. You won't run out of time on the entire test. And it'll allow you to tackle all the easier questions first and save some of those harder questions for the end. We have to remember that a question is a question is a question. Even though a whole passage question might be infinitely harder than that capitalization question, they're worth the same in the end. Another strategy, process of elimination, as you know. So as you're answering individual questions, it's probably helpful to visually rule out the answers you know are incorrect. There are a couple of strategies that you should know about for the ACT English test specifically. One is that no change is a viable option. So we have to remember that just because they underline something inside of a passage on the ACT English test does not necessarily mean it's wrong. It is possible for an underlined portion to be correct as is, That would also mean for a process of elimination, if there's something clearly wrong with the underlined portion, you can rule out no change in that context. If one of your answer options corrects an error, let's say it's a comma question, right? And we notice that one of the options, we'll say option B, corrects that comma error, but makes a different error, maybe it capitalizes something that shouldn't be capitalized, that option is automatically wrong. So pay close attention to that. If you notice that one of the options makes a different error while it fixes one, it's automatically wrong because they're asking you for grammatical correctness all the way through. Another little bit of logic there, if two answer options have the exact same meaning, they either have to both be automatically wrong, or one of your options has to be all of the above. This is actually easiest to think about in math. Let's say you have a math problem, and your options are A, which is just the number 1, B is 2, C is 4 over 2, 4 divided by 2, and D is 3. If you notice, B and C are 2 and 4 over 2. Well, 4 divided by 2 is 2, meaning that both B and C mean the same thing. You're only allowed to select one option, which means that you cannot select B or C. They mean the same exact thing. You can automatically rule them out. Your answers have to be either 1 or 3. That helps with the process of solving that math problem. It would be the same thing in English. If you notice that you've got two answers that mean the exact same thing, again, they're either both automatically wrong, or you've got like a D, all of the above, or B and C are both correct kind of option to pay attention to. There's also some language things inside of the directions for the ACT English test that you should be aware of. One phrase that you will see in the directions for the ACT English test is best expresses the idea. Oftentimes on the ACT English passage, you'll see a larger portion of text underlined. Could be a sentence, could be a larger clause, could be an entire paragraph. The test is likely asking you to choose the option with the best wording or phrasing. The ACT English test always, all caps always, wants you to choose the most clear and concise option. Whatever uses the fewest words and retains its meaning is the correct answer. You won't see any of those on today's quiz, but as we move forward, pay attention for conciseness. Another bit of language, appropriate for standard written English, is inside of the directions for ACT English. The test also always wants you to choose answer options that avoid slang. I haven't seen a whole lot of that on the official ACT, but just know that. They also want you to keep tone formal and academic. So if there's a passage that ever uses slang terms, the passage will likely place them in quotation marks. Just keep an eye out for that. If you ever have answer options that include slang terms, or they just kind of keep the tone too informal or not academic at all, that answer can be ruled out as well. Let's maybe take a look at a couple of these questions inside of your quiz. I'll close this. Let's go back to the lesson. So notice there are some directions for you right here. They are just basic grammar rules like we talked about. Each question will present an underlined portion of text. I have not given you full passages here. You must select the multiple choice option that best phrases it in standard written English, like we talked about. Again, no change is a viable option, so pay close attention to that as you quiz. Notice there is a timer, 20 minutes for 15 questions. That's much more generous than the normal ACT English is, but we'll kind of work our way into a healthier time frame there. Notice that we're given a sentence with an underlined portion. Running out of ideas for savage YouTube comments, the boy stuck with a classic, "You're stupid." And notice that they have "you're stupid" underlined right there. I do want to show you a couple of tools that you can use for selecting your answer. One is the Eliminate Choices button. This allows you to do process of elimination inside of Schoology. Let's say I know that D is wrong because it misspells stupid, right? That allows me to rule it out. Let's say I also know that C is incorrect. I notice that there's no end mark in that sentence. There's a period in the normal sentence. There's no end mark in C. Now I know that I have to choose between either A, Y-O-U''RE, or B, Y-O-U-R. I have to decide which spelling of your is correct there. Another tool I want you to know about is the flag for review button right here. Let's say I have no idea how to deal with this sentence. There's a comma after confidence. They give me different options for punctuating. Let's say I'm not sure. what I can do is click flag for review. I could even take a guess and click flag for review. That works. And once I get to the end of my quiz, if I hit review, it'll show me which questions are flagged that I can go back to make sure that I can double check them. That's good for questions that you want to skip and save for the end. It's also just good for questions in general that you're not sure about and you want to take a guess and just take a look back at your guess before you submit at the end. Use those ACT strategies that we discussed earlier in the video as you take your quiz. Notice once again, you've got a 20-minute timer, so you can't spend infinite amounts of time on each individual question. We will work our way into being able to answer more than one question per minute as the semester goes on.